Hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and we're on Sunday stitching. So my peg bag is finished. I don't know if it all fits on, does it? Yeah, just about. So I did the holding clip so that it can go onto the washing line with you last week. We cut the hole. I since framed that with some ribbon, and then to add strength to these corners, because the hand's going in and out all the time, I put some lace flowers. I did my slow stitch piece that I said I was going to do, just with bits of fabric. I did some feather stitch and some beads through there, like a bit of a tree, because it's in the garden. I found one of these old style pegs. It's a modern one, and I just dangled some buttons on there, and I just put a pin, sort of laundry bag idea. This is only sewn to there, so that moves around a little bit. This is some of the shirt from my original scrappy quilt, and there you go, it's all done. So we're moving on, and I was surprised to see how many of you liked the idea of the retro stitching, which is quite handy because we're now doing this long project which is not Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and as you can see I've got here quite a long piece of scarf, and I've just folded it over so that I can stitch myself a seam across here. And the reason I want to stitch a seam across there is because I want this to be a treasury of memories of things that have happened, etc, etc. And a few houses ago I had a double butler sink in my kitchen, great big thing, and actually I want to stitch from the other side because I want it to be an invisible stitch. Actually, it doesn't matter because I'm going over it. Right, ignore me. Right, Claire, start again. So I'm just going to stitch this seam, and this is part of an old scarf. I got the scarf in the charity shop. I believe I paid about £1 for it. So there you go. So I'm just stitching this seam because, as I was saying, a few houses ago, in my kitchen I had a huge double butler sink. It was a fabulous thing, and that in itself brought loads of memories because my baby girls, who are now well grown and have children of their own, as you know, they used to get bathed in that sink, mainly because in that kitchen we had a stable door, the type where you can have the top open but not the bottom, and they used to run in and out the garden and get all muddy and stuff, and then they'd come in and go into the butler sink for a quick bath. Loved that kitchen. Lots of memories were made in that kitchen, as I say, but the relevance of what I'm doing now to the butler sinks that I'm telling you about is that I had one of those very old-fashioned, I don't even know, Victorian maybe, wooden rolls, and it's screwed to the wall, and it had a tube on it, and you had one of those complete loop towels. You used to hang through it and you'd pull it round, yeah? Until recently they were in a lot of, sounds awful doesn't it, but a lot of public toilets. But yeah, and of course when we left that house and moved on, it was left behind along with the butler sink and various other things. So anyway, So I thought what I would do is I would make a faux one of those loop towels with this piece of scarf. I've ordered, it hasn't arrived yet, but I've ordered the best replica I can find for that, which is in fact a kitchen roll holder. And next week when it should be here, I'll show you. You'll hopefully understand a bit better if you don't already. So this piece of work is going to hang over that kitchen roll holder up the side there so that I can see it while I'm working. So that's the plan. But first of all, we have to make it so that it will sit on our loop. You know, it will sit on our roller, whatever you want. I don't know where my words are. So anyway, and I've decided that what I want to do is I want my piece to be a bit like pages that have been torn out of a scrapbook. Oh look, we're playing roulette with this thread. It's not going to work. I'll have to get a new bit. So yeah, I want it to be like pages that have been torn out of a scrapbook and stuck to a larger piece. Only of course this is not going to be your standard scrap or sketchbook because this is sewing. So if you are wanting to join in because you don't want to do another quilt or large project such as the sisters are offering, then you might enjoy this, because I am gonna cover the whole of the back with these bits of cotton and stuff here, and then each week I'm going to stitch a single piece to go on. So what that means is there's no big major commitment, because you could just join in each week and either stop when you've had enough, so you might only do 2 or 3, or you might go all the way. And if you don't want a wall hanging piece like this, then you could actually put each piece on a page in an actual scrapbook or a stitchery sketchbook or whatever. If you don't want to join in and you just want to watch, then obviously that is absolutely fine and dandy as well. So that's stitch the seam that I want. So we'll take our pins out. Sorry, it's warm again, so I've got the window open. You can probably hear a car outside. So you see now we've got this tube that our wooden pole's going to go in. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm just going to gradually work down. Don't know how much we're going to get done today. I don't know how long it's going to take. Now, in these bits and pieces I've got here, I have got an A4 size piece of cotton that I did scan some of my vintage things into the printer and then printed out. I've shown how to do this before if you want to have a go at this. I'll try and find the video and link it below so that if you want to, you can do some. You can see this is the top of a page from the 20th of June 1911, and it's just been scanned, and there's an old picture there as well and various other things. So that can go on, definitely. Just interesting fabrics, old bit of tablecloth, but also I've got this piece of a blouse. Now it's not a particularly important blouse to me, it wasn't a blouse of mine, but for some reason I've used the rest of the blouse in my slow stitching, but for some reason I've just not been able to use this bit. I don't know why. It's just never got used. Keeps getting put back in the pile. But today is the time that it's going to get used. So, as I say, I'm just making my background at the moment. So I'm going to put that under there, like so. I need to be careful that I don't stitch all the way through there, because obviously that's my loop above that row of stitching there. So just, as I say, building this background. Okay. Right. And I want it all to be fairly neutral colours, which is why I've bought the fabrics I bought along out of my stash. Deliberately higgledy-piggledy sizes. This one's even had a hexie drawn on it. So then we're going to scoop that under there, like so. So even though this is only the background, I am layering it. And then see again, this hexie's been drawn on this that for some reason were then not used. I think we'll have a thin piece of this. Yeah. But we want it all different, so we're gonna trim that off there. Oh, it's got an element of silk or something in this, which is why it's not tearing very well. And I've got a plaster on my finger, which of course has got a sticky bit that everything is sticking to. So just pulling pins out. Okay. And then we've got this lovely old tablecloth that's been coffee dyed. What do we think? I think we're going to go down here, because I want to keep it fairly neutral. Pop that under there. Okay. Get another pin for down here. And then I think maybe a piece of this might be nice, mightn't it? So cut along here. you have to obviously remember that you need overlap, but because I'm going on top of this again, we don't have to worry as much about that as we normally would. Okay, now we seem to have creams and colours, so we need some cream coming across there, I think. What if we come down there like that? Need more pins. Okay, and then in my printed bit, I'm going to have this invoice. Oh yeah, look. Although I've got to remember I'm going on top. Let's put it there. I think that's where that belongs. Okay. What other creamy, or maybe even actually, what if we add in a bit of colour? Because it is a scrapbook, isn't it? But all the colours on that side, you say, isn't that weird? Just rummaging. Do you know what? This is something that I stitched a long time ago, and I think that might be a way of adding some colour there, but also by keeping the cream going. See, so these are looking like memories already. We need something under there, don't we? So is that where we add? No. See, now this piece of that tablecloth has actually got some embroidery on it. So let's tear that across. Like so. And I think that will be our bottom piece there. I don't mind that they're all higgledy-piggledy. In fact, that's what I want, really. Okay, so that's going there. And then I've got this piece of a top that was given to me. And I think, no, that's not going to sit on there. So what else have we got? Oh, we've got this lovely textured fabric. Now that will add a bit of weight to the bottom, so that's a good idea. So we take that one, and that's going to add another little tassely bit there. Bring it up a little bit more. Okay, we need something, you probably can't see that, we need something here. I'm wondering, coming back to this, I cut that off, it's going to be too small I think. We're about to find out. No, it's not. Okay. So there is my background. Now, it's obviously got a nod to red in it, which, if you remember from last week, I already sort of knew that I was going to do. And now I'm just going to set about putting a few more pins in so that this stays where I've got it. And then I'm going to start doing some stitching. Okay, cover these pins up before they end up on the floor. So there you go. I'm feeling now like I like this shape here, but I feel like it goes too far. See, and this is what happens, I just don't ever want to fully let go of this piece for some strange reason. And yet it's only a charity shop blouse, it wasn't one of mine or anyone I know. Right, so we're going to take that piece out, going to save that piece for another day, and we're going to find something else to go in there. I would like, actually, if I'm honest, another piece of this tablecloth. I'm going to cut there, so it's ripped to there, and then I'm going to cut there and see if that'll, no, it is going to damage that piece, but hey ho. Right, and it's got this lovely scalloped edge on, which if I iron that, so yeah, that's better. I'm happy with that. I'm going to pull it, sorry I got a pin in my mouth, I'm going to pull it on the skew like that. I like that idea. Need another, oh, there we go. Right, so that's my background. I'm gonna cut this, whatever that is, stray bit that we don't need. Turn this round, and we are gonna, oh, that's where that pin was, up there. We're going to start to stitch, and I think for reasons that I don't really know, I'm going to actually start stitching from the bottom. So I'm going to bring it all the way up there like that, and I'm going to stitch from the bottom here. And yeah, I think we'll go with white thread. A, I've got some in the needle. B, it makes sense. And why not? So basically just gonna start stitching it around the edge, because, and I'm doing invisible stitch, little tiny on the top and then large at the back, because I basically just want to hold these pieces down. Okay. Ow. That was a stabbing off the finger. The reason I've got this plaster on my finger is because I've been trying desperately to get one of my quilts finished, and I am actually on the last probably 1/8 of it before I can put the border on. So last sort of 1/8 of the hand quilting, and then the border can go on and away we go. So that'll be good. That'll be 2 of the 3 finished, and then I can get the 3rd one finished. And the 3rd one hasn't even been sewn down completely yet. Some of it has, as you've seen, but not completely. So it's going to be a bit of a major jobby. And as I wanted them done for Christmas, I need to pull my finger out, because we are halfway through the year already. So I'm going to go along this line. And also the thing that I like about this is, because of the way that I've done this, all of these fabrics are different textures, different weights, slightly, all the beiges are slightly different colours. There is some colour in there as well. And then I'm going to come along each week and do a weekly piece. I don't know how long it's going to take before it's finished, because it's going to grow organically. It's going to be one of them things that it's done when it feels right, not a minute before or later. Right, now take that pin out, because that's been stitched, and get a pin in there, because that's moving. Okay. So yeah, different bits of this are different weights, and it all feels slightly different, which I think is lovely. Right. Oops. Okay, more cotton and some coffee. So, what sort of things am I going to be putting on here? Well, whilst I want stitching on it, I want it to be a stitchery piece. So the sketchbook pages that I put in will be stitcheries. I also want, you know, mementos and things. So the house we live in at the moment is very special to us, well, to me. I'm sure it is to hubby too, for a number of different reasons. So one of the things that I am going to be putting on it is one of the keys to our door. Not our front door now, because we've had the door and windows changed, but the key that we were given, you know, one of the keys we were given when we purchased the house. So that's going to go on here. There's odd little things that I've got, some broken bits of jewellery that are very important. My eldest daughter had a trip to America with the children, with the school, when she was a teenager. She brought me back a necklace which was strung and the string broke, but I've still got the pieces. So one or two of those pieces will go on it. Lots of things like that. So not necessarily treasures that you would expect, but things that are treasures to me. For often very silly reasons, but they're important. Right, so where are we up to? Need to come back here because I went across, didn't I? So I feel like I've had you forever. Have we been here a long time? I'll have to double check. How long have we been here? Oh, just over the half an hour. So I think we'll stitch till this thread runs out. You've now got a really good idea of my plan. Decide whether or not you want to join in with your own project, or whether you just like to enjoy to watch while you are indeed working on another project. I've got a very special brooch somewhere as well, that I'm going to try and find to go on here. So Right, we did all across there, all across there. Just need to meet that point there. So now that pin and that pin can come out. This is what I like, because once the pins start coming out, you can start manoeuvring it a little bit better. Whoops, see, and the thread doesn't get caught on the pins and all that lot. I'm going to go back here to where we went across that piece of red. Take that pin out. That pin can come out. And then for my homework, I will get all of this stitched down so that it's all ready for us to work on our first, I'm going to call them sketchbook pages, but I'm only going to do, because you can tell by the size of this, I'm probably going to do pieces that are around the 5-inch mark, which is what I'm saying about it being a nice smaller project, because you can stop at any given time, really, because each, 5-inch-ish page, once it's done in that week, it's done. Right, I'm going to have to rethread that needle. I'm not going to put you through that agony. So we'll put our needle over there. So here you go. We've got our tube to put our roller through. We've got our background. I'm going to put some extra pins in there. Now you can see I haven't got any overlap there, which normally would be a big problem, but because I'm going to be adding more layers to the top, I'm not worried about that. So yeah, we've got our diary, our shirt, we've got these other fabrics going on, and I've stitched to here, so this bit is all stitched. I'll carry on and get that finished, and I'll see you next week for our first little sketchbook piece. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Ta-ta for now.